GDPR stands for General Data Protection Regulation. It is a European regulation that aims to strengthen and unify data protection across all European Union member states and control the transfer of data outside the EU. This regulation has already come into force, and the implementation period ends on May 25, 2018. But how does GDPR affect your company? Let's suppose that this is your company. Here, the server is used by different work areas. One of the levels affected by the GDPR is the software. All software used in the company, whether it be email, CRM, ERP, or others, must comply with the GDPR guidelines. Therefore, they must meet certain requirements for encryption, use of database, etc. Another affected level is systems architecture. This level covers aspects such as network security systems to prevent cybersecurity failures. Another important level is the business activity performed by workers. To comply with the GDPR, some current procedures must be performed in a certain way, and new procedures must be implemented. And this level refers to failures that cannot be fully controlled by technology. An example would be divulging a user password in conversation. The best way to prevent breaches at this level is to continuously train employees. AuraPortal focuses on the business activity level, correctly automating the procedures in line with the GDPR and providing adequate access. This level is crucial since it is difficult to ensure that employees are going to use the data correctly. To better understand what these procedures are, let's take a look at a scenario involving the following participants. The data subject is the person whose information we have. This may have been sent by any means, a web form, a CV, an email, etc. Data controller is the company or entity that receives the personal data and must comply with the GDPR. Data processor is any external organization that processes personal data on behalf of the data controller. For example, a marketing company subcontracted to send emails. Supervisory authority is the entity that is responsible for monitoring GDPR compliance in organizations. DPO, Data Protection Officer, is the one who works to ensure the company is adhering to GDPR policies and procedures and answers to the supervisory authority. The DPO can be an internal data protection expert or an external service. However, his role is not always necessary. It will depend on the type of company and what it does. Let's see how AuraPortal's GDPR governance tool works. When John Doe registers using a form on our website, an AuraPortal process is automatically launched. That contains different phases with different activities that the employees must perform. Each box identifies a task. This eradicates any possibility of error, as each employee receives instructions on their screen explaining how to perform their task. This ensures compliance with the GDPR and avoids the penalties for non-compliance. This automated process creates a data subject record containing all GDPR-related information, such as data category, purpose, data processing, and retention limits. This automatically created data subject record forms the basis for other procedures required by the GDPR. The structures of these procedures are included in this GDPR governance tool. Other relevant processes to ensure GDPR compliance are modification or elimination of personal data. The data subject has the right to be forgotten. Therefore, a portal is provided so they can make changes to their own personal data and request for it to be deleted whenever they want. Consent and renewal request. It is necessary to have the data subject's consent or some other legitimate basis for personal data processing to be lawful. This process automatically generates consent documents with digital signature. For example, a company must have the data subject's consent before sending them an email. External communication. The departments that handle sensitive information, such as administration and finance, may have double protection processes for sending personal information, such as payslips or bank statements. These extra protected processes help to significantly reduce the percentage of information leakage. Security breach notifier. Let's imagine that the data subject receives an email that he considers unauthorized. Using his data subject portal, he notifies the company of this incident. Then the DPO, or the person responsible for the company's personal data protection, checks the data subject's record and consent documents in the GDPR governance tool. If everything is in order, the data subject is notified. If it is indeed a security breach, the incident and the measures adopted, if any, are communicated to the data subject and to the supervisory authority within the 72-hour deadline, as established by law. Thanks to the GDPR governance tool, the legitimate basis for processing personal data can be consulted in the data subject's record, and each legitimate basis authorizes the data controller to include their personal data in the corresponding data processing operations. Protection Impact Assessment, PIA. This assessment is performed on all data processing identified in the company. The GDPR governance tool provides step-by-step instructions to achieve a correct PIA, identifying risks, calculating their levels, generating the initial report, ensuring the implementation of the chosen measures, and generating the final report. It is important to highlight that the GDPR governance tool ensures that the appropriate measures are actually implemented, and it automatically generates the corresponding official reports. The GDPR governance tool also provides exclusive portals for the data subject, the employees, and the DPO, where they have access to all authorized options. In short, AuraPortal automates all the procedures necessary for GDPR compliance.